Yeah, we're already live there.
Hey, Kat, how are you doing?
Let's go live here. Hey, everybody. Eddie and Ava coming to you this evening. There we go. We live now. We back over here. Look at us getting set up. It is hot here this evening in Atlanta, Georgia.
It is.
It feels like it's 120 degrees outside right now. Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Oh, wait a minute. I need to join yours, don't I?
Well, you could.
Why don't I do that? All right, Kat,
Yeah.
I'm going to join his. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do now.
Well, we can do it. Be live on yours also.
It's just.
Welcome to the Drive Time Hour here at WSSMOZ radio station AM in Cartersville, Georgia, coming to you for your Cartersville afternoon drive time in Calhoun County, Georgia. There is no Calhoun County.
No, we're going to stay on here, Kat.
This is Eddie and Ava, the live AM radio show coming to you. Let's get a weather update for this evening. John, do you have a weather update for us? It's hot as fuck. So anyhow, hey everybody, good evening. So Ava flies out in the morning. So I tell you, Savannah was supposed to have a piano recital at Ormwood Presbyterian Church at 6:00. And they called and texted, but I didn't see it and didn't have. But anyhow, she backed out of it, decided not to go. So we was in Lakewood. So we had already got up and got a shower and got prettied up and this and that and the other. And so Ava was outside doing something. And
yeah. Kat, I will do my best to make it. They were saying Rome Pride is next month, and Out on Film, we've actually been wanting to partner with more Pride organizations, but that's going to be something for next year. But
Rome, are y'all talking about Rome, Georgia?
Yes.
They're going to have a Pride?
Yes. They also have an international film festival.
In Rome, Georgia?
Yes.
That's where Margaret Taylor Greene's from.
Okay, you don't have to bring up that though.
No, we're not in Calhoun. We're actually in a little neighborhood, Jefferson Park in East Point, Georgia, which is just a little
I'd love to support
5 or 6 miles from downtown Atlanta. So we're coming to you from Atlanta this evening. TikTok over here in TikTok world.
Kat says they hate MTG as well.
Yeah, that's weird. I tell you, I knew people, from Rome and Adairsville and all that area up in there, and they still have little snake handling churches back up in them hills up in there. That's that part of Georgia.
When you say snake handling,
where they you go on YouTube and watch documentaries of little hole in the snake handling churches, where people get bit and died up, and they still, I don't know, it's just kind of a weird group of white people up there. That's what it is.
Kat says they speak in tongues talk. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. My hair is wild too.
So anyhow, everybody, good evening. Eddie and Ava coming to you. Good evening there.
I cannot cool off.
Prooks Butler.
Mm-hmm. I like that name.
Good evening, Stephanie. Over on Facebook. So yeah, we just figured we'd kill a few minutes. Ava's going through menopause, so
it's just hot. I was outside, and it is really hot outside, and it's really hot outside.
Some of y'all that know and follow Lori Morgan, I believe it is, a comedian. She's made a whole career now. Everybody's talking about menopause. Oprah's having menopause conventions, and thank you, Stephanie. So anyway, I haven't done a live in a couple of weeks. I think it's just
since last week.
Since last week, that's a couple of weeks.
You called me while I was in Nashville. Well, I called you, and then you told me.
Oh, I was on. Yeah, sitting outside. Yeah.
I haven't joined you for a live in a very long while, though.
Yeah, I have to get the money out to pay Ava to go live because she charges by the hour.
Charged by the second.
By the second. So, but anyhow, y'all, what's going on in the world this evening? How's everybody doing?
Y'all, I mean, yes, I'm a diva, but also this fan.
Hey, Betty.
Thank you. I
Uh,
should get that coin.
Over on Facebook. Ooh, that feels good.
Right? See,
Yeah.
everybody needs a big fan here in the South.
I got a haircut today, y'all.
That looks good there.
So, and then I went over to work on the Key Road house. And I went over and tore out some of the wall around the bathtub. It was about 30, 40 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing this today. So we came home. We watched the final episode,
Not
or
the final. It was
not the
eighth
final,
episode.
the 8th episode of The Handmaid's Tale. Blessed be the fruit.
Okay, are y'all watching The Handmaid's
Praise
Tale?
It's so boring,
Because-
y'all. I'm over it. Why don't I'm ready for June to be done away with?
Yeah,
She's
I'm
done got
tired
on my
of June.
nerves.
I'm really tired of June. Aunt Lydia, everyone actually. I'm just ready for it. I'm ready for the show to be over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Well, we watched 5
Your
episodes, and then we
filter's
decided
better
we wouldn't
than
watch it no more. Huh?
Your filter is better than mine. Look at you.
It's the lighting coming in the single, right?
We are living in the Handmaid's time. I think about that every time I go.
Praise
when
be, blessed be the fruit.
Turn on the TV.
I think I'll just walk through Lowe's and Home Depot in the weeks ahead, just a random stranger back there pulling out plumbing pipes or something. Just walk by and just like, blessed be the fruit. And
Someone
just-
said, now leave June alone. Okay, but every single decision that she makes is not a good decision. It's not until this season where people are like, hey, June, you're kind of problematic.
Thank you, John, over on TikTok. Yeah, June's stupid.
Stop, you can't say that.
Oh, well, June. The month of June is stupid. It's too hot in the month of June.
I'm just kidding. You can't say that. People just happen to enjoy June.
Yeah, June, she screws up everything, you know.
I tell you who I really
She's not a
enjoy.
godly woman either, having an affair with that commander she's had.
Okay,
You
but
can tell
the
she's
commander
Pentecostal.
is sexy.
That commander, she just hopped right in the bed with him like a good old fashioned Pentecostal woman.
They don't post good Christian bitches for nothing.
You can't say that; they'll ban me on TikTok.
Are they really?
Yeah, they will. You can't say nothing negative about the Christians.
But we are them. Those are us.
Yeah, I think. Hey, Stephanie, I think I'm just gonna walk by people at Lowe's, Home Depot, and just walk by and say, "Under his eye, under his eye." So, but anyhow, we watched that. We still got an episode of Hacks that we need to catch up on.
We do. Someone said the Gilded Age came out.
And then, y'all, we watched the 4 seasons.
That was so good.
That
4
was
seasons
so
on
good.
Netflix.
And you know what? I had seen the original with Alan Alda years ago. I didn't have a clue any of it no longer because that was about 25 years ago or longer. And so, not to give any of it away, but on like next to the last episode, when the shocking thing happened, it just made me sit up in the bed and almost start crying. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, that can't be.
It made me so. It was a little bit like when George died on Grey's Anatomy. Not
Yeah.
died, but we figured out who that was in the operating table. It was kind of that traumatic.
Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all though that the 4 seasons, it's 8 episodes.
8 episodes, yes.
8 episodes.
And it's really beautiful because they do each episode with Vivaldi's 4 seasons. It ties together.
Yeah, and it's really good. And you know, the funny girl from Saturday Night Live,
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey, she's not the best actress. You know, she's not a Nicole Kidman or
Okay,
something. But
why
she
are we
was-
disparaging her like that?
Well,
Why are
I
we
mean,
coming
I
for
wouldn't
her?
have thought I would have liked her in something a little more serious and less comedic because she tends to be very comedic.
She does.
And,
You should, Kat. It's really good.
But also the gay couple on there has got Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo and Marco Calvini, who is the husband of Marco Pegosi, who just came out with High Tide.
See,
Marco Calvini directed it. The only reason I know all this is because Marco Pegosi and Marco Calvini came to Out on Film this past time, and I got to do an interview with Marco Pegosi, who's very sexy.
Yeah.
See, without
Watching
Tina
Parker
Fey,
face on Peacock.
we would not have Mean Girls. She's iconic.
Yeah. I mean, I love Tina Fey. I love her and the blonde-headed one that's always with her.
Oh,
That was on Parks and Rec.
her name is escaping me.
But I love her all, and the two of them together are so
Amy
crazy.
Poehler.
Amy Poehler, yeah, I love Amy Poehler. But and then the thing about it is, a funny story about Coleman Domingo. Ava was at a thing with him one evening, and I had just watched something of
It was a short that
a
I
short
was
film with him in it.
judging.
And I told Ava, I'm like, I'm telling you, that guy's really, really
I
good.
had no idea who he was. And then after he watches, bye, Kat.
Yeah.
After he watches it, like a week later, Coleman wins an Emmy,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to Eddie.
Yeah. And so anyhow, I made the statement to Ava, I'm like, that Coleman Domingo, now I'm telling you, he's going to go somewhere. He's really good because he was so good in that little short film. And so a week or two later, Ava FaceTimes me one evening because she's out doing something, and it's Coleman Domingo with her. And he's like, I heard you said I might be heading places. And I'm like, dude, you're so good. You're so good.
So good.
And then now he's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards since then. That's crazy, isn't it? Such a small world. I've been looking for y'all. Glad to see y'all on live.
Glad to see you, Danielle.
Yes. So we're waiting for the sun to go down. Here in Atlanta, yeah, I am, because I only get outside for a little bit once I get in that thing about an hour before dark time. But it's going to be in the 90s tomorrow in Atlanta. It feels like it's 90 right now outside. It's just brutal hot. And here it is, just toward the end of May, not quite.
Halfway through May.
Halfway through May. And
we are at the halfway point.
so,
May.
to me, Atlanta is one of the greatest cities in the world, especially to live in. But man, June, July, and August gets kind of brutal. It's 107 in Texas, and we are dying.
107 in Texas.
Yeah. That's because God's not pleased with Texas, y'all. Texas is suffering the wrath of God.
Oh, just listen to the news. It sounds like we all are, because FEMA is not funded anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in the world with politics and all. Not to get onto a whole Trump bandwagon of bang, 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 and Trump. Not bang, bang, banging, but just
going on and
on about Donald Trump. He is not tired of them people, and I got to go see him. But anyhow, it is kind of we've had time now to process the MAGA win and the Biden loss or the Harris loss.
Yeah,
and see y'all. Y'all stop by and say hey, go on about your business, get your dinner started.
It is dinner hour.
Thank you there, user 94. But I knew there was something. No matter what comes out in the news in the weeks ahead, nothing justifies the election of Donald Trump to push him upon the country. But Jake Tapper's book's being released in a few days, where he goes into detail about how everybody in the cabinet and everybody that was a staff person around President Biden, the upper echelon of the Democratic Party, Nancy Pelosi, the Chuck Schumers, that everybody was in on it, that Joe Biden was not mentally fit to be president. And he wasn't mentally fit to be president when he announced a year or two before he stepped down. And that's one reason Nancy Pelosi, first off, they had reported that it was a phone call that she had called him and told him he couldn't be elected and he needs to get out of the race. It wasn't a phone call. She went and met him in the White House and nobody ever knew it. And to his face told him, you're a detriment to this country. You're not mentally fit to run this country. And then his wife, Jill Biden, and I know this seems like I'm really turning on Joe Biden and cracking on him, but goddamn, surely why did he do that? If he had decided 2 years before time not to have sought re-election, the Democrats could have wheedled down the best candidate to run for president, and it would have been an open and a fair nominating process, where those things are kind of important to get down to the person the country can get behind. And so in the reporting that Jake Tapper's doing, it's kind of we all saw the mental stuff that was going on with Joe Biden. Don't mean he was 100% incoherent 24 hours a day, but when you're around old people who's losing it, it just happens intermittently. Maybe they're fine, and then all of a sudden they don't even know where they're at. And it kind of comes and goes like that. And even in the book, Jake Tapper interviewed George Clooney, who started all of it when he wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post or either the New York
It was
Times.
the New York Times.
About he called personally on Joe Biden to step aside for the good of the country. Well, then it comes out the reason he did that he was holding a fundraiser in California for Joe Biden. Joe Biden came to it. And then when he was introduced to Joe Biden, behind the curtain, behind the scenes, as it was getting started that evening, Joe Biden had no clue who he was, he said. And he said he had been a friend to Joe Biden for years. They had met each other many times. And Joe Biden said, "George who?" And one of his staff said, "Mr. President, George Clooney." George Clooney, he said, "George who?" And George Clooney said he never did put two and two together who he was. That's why he wrote the op-ed about, "Mr. President, you need to step aside." And so in the reporters that I've been reading in here, they talk about when the election comes around in 2028, it is.
If we still have elections, yes.
These same group of people who lied to the American people, Jake Tapper said, how is anybody going to trust them in the future when they lied so blatantly about covering up for a mentally incapable man of Joe Biden? So
I think we need to start forcing a lot of criticism on the Democratic Party and changing out leadership. And yeah, like you said, they all need to go. They fumbled it.
The reason that the Democrats for so long loved Nancy Pelosi, yeah, she's a San Francisco liberal, she's a wackadoodle, and all these other things. The Republicans hate everything about it because when
she got shit
she
done.
would stand up to people to their face, not on a phone call, to their face and tell them, "Listen, you can't do this." And I never knew her to lie to people. Yeah. And the thing about it is, I feel for Vice President Harris because she was in a predicament. How could she come out and say the president's not coherent? Because then all his supporters would turn on her because they feel like, well, she's the vice president. You don't throw your boss under the bus. So she was in a no-win situation. And so anyway, more and more of the truth comes out about, why was the election lost and why was there, and I'll tell you when the election was lost. Jill Biden, as a coherent wife of Joe Biden, should have told him, "You're going to set your butt down. You're not running for president again." And but from everything I read back then, she was the staunchest supporter of him not to get out of the race. She wanted him to stay for the president. And
That's weird.
Yeah. So anyhow,
that's weird.
Hey, Anna. Hey, Jill.
Hello.
Hey, Nance. Hey, all y'all over on TikTok. We just talking a little bit of politics, sitting here in a sweltering hot evening, coming to y'all from Atlanta. So, and also on local politics, Keisha Lance Bottoms has formed an exploratory committee to run for governor of Georgia. Y'all, she was not a good mayor. She resigned during all the chaos when the City of Atlanta Police Department basically collapsed around her. And she doesn't stand a snowball's chance in hell to win to be governor of Georgia. And yeah, the buck did stop with Jill, Margaret. And so what I'm hoping in the midterms and in the other election coming up in 28, my God, we have all these people that want to run for governor and want to run for president, and them knowing they don't stand a snowball's chance in hell to get elected, but it's a power thing. They want to put their name out there. They don't care if they win or not. They want to raise money. They want to be in the flow of everything, part of the decision makers. And what it does, it winds up hurting other Democrats, because this country has just kind of went off the deep end with all this. And I don't really fault people who had fallen out with the Democrats. A lot of people just like, I can't vote for them. And if I'm being honest tonight, there was something that was going on at the border that it seemed like most of the country and the Democrat side, they kind of missed the boat on that. That the country was upset that millions, not thousands, millions of people came across that border in the 4 years that Joe Biden was president. And there just seemed like there should have been a better effort to kind of figure out a way to stop that, to slow it down, to do something. And so anyway, maybe we had it coming, and hopefully, hopefully there's going to be some wake up. People have to wake up and figure out, where do we go from here? We need new voices. We need new candidates. We don't need to trot out the same. And my God, if I'm going to tell y'all this, and I know some of y'all that follow me are diehard Bernieites, and y'all love everything about Bernie. If Bernie winds up the Democratic nominee, he'll go down in a huge defeat. The country will not elect Bernie Sanders, and he'll be 80-something years old on top of that.
But he and AOC, the ideas that they're putting out there, at least it's saying something against the current leadership.
It is. I mean, he's got crowds of people showing up, and him and AOC and but I'm telling y'all, the country was not going to elect him president. He's been around forever. He's had his 2 or 3 other shots at it. The country is not going to elect Bernie Sanders. So I'm hoping as it goes forward, the Democrats get serious and put up a serious candidate and get, and I tell you what, I have some issues with the Democratic Party too. I'm at campaign rallies. I'm at campaign rallies with Vice President Harris, and you got groups of radical Democratic voters who's trying to shout her down, saying that she's not friendly enough to Palestinians, and I'm like, y'all don't even. It just seems so misguided, to all these little individual groups of people who just come so radicalized over one single issue to them. That, because she wasn't a strong enough voice against the bombing of Gaza, then they said 300,000 Palestinians in Michigan would tilt the election toward Donald Trump. And listen how crazy this is. And Donald Trump don't give a rat's ass about any of them.
All of them are saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I voted for him. He's deporting us.
They knew that. He don't give a rat's ass about any of those people. But yet they're like, we're not going to support Vice President Harris. 300,000 people supposedly, in Michigan.
I guess I always think too during an election, like there's more than just 2 candidates. Like if you can't vote for Harris, then there are other candidates you can put your vote behind without supporting the 45th and now 47th president.
Yeah. So anyhow, y'all, we're going to get off of here.
We got into it.
Yeah. We're going to get off of here. Going forward in the future, I'll tell you one thing Donald Trump has done, and nobody is more anti-Trump on the internet than I am. That what Donald Trump has done is change politics forever. Politics will never ever go back to being just a boring kind of Republican candidate, George W. against Al Gore. Those days are over. And the Democrats, if the Democrats should take away anything or learn anything from what the country wants people that'll cut through the bullshit. And even though I disagree with just about everything Donald Trump's doing, all the executive orders, rounding up people, doing this, the people that voted for him love all that because he's not waiting around on Congress. He's not waiting around on the Supreme Court. He's not waiting around on the Senate. And I know it's horrible on our end. But the
Well,
Democrats,
it's not just horrible, but it goes against what we founded this country as. And yeah, he's doing it, but he should not be doing it.
well, here's the way I'm going to look at that. The cat's out of the bag now. The cat's out of the bag. What he has proved, what he has shown future presidents, Democrat or Republican, what he has shown them is that you don't have to sit and just wait and wait and wait. Because I'm telling y'all, folks, they've been for 15 years trying to get an immigration bill passed in the House and in the Senate. And it just gets kicked down, election after election. Nothing ever gets done. And Donald Trump's just showing people, I don't care if they pass a bill or not. I'm president. I'm gonna he has the mantle. He's a king. I'm just gonna do it. And if they don't like it, they can just lump it.
So I guess going forward now, like if you're making that argument, then it kind of goes against the idea of having a democracy or Republican.
I don't think we are a democracy no more in that sense. Because I'm going to tell you, if a Democrat's elected in 2028 as president, on their first day of office, they also, like Joe Biden did, will sign hundreds of executive orders.
Yes.
And the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of America will return to be the Gulf of Mexico. All these things presidents do, the other presidents will go in there like Trump and undo them, change them, create their own executive orders, because what he has given as a blueprint is that people don't want bills to set up areas, House committees and subcommittees, and them get debated and witnessed and debated for years on end. People just like, just do it, get shit done.
It is wild that his supporters started calling things democracy because it's anything but.
No, it's not.
It's the absolute
I think what
opposite.
we've entered into,
It's the upside down.
what we've entered into is an authoritarian government, and with an authoritative leader, and it's that cat's out of the bag now, and even my thing is, even in the midterms here in a year and a half, if the Democrats take back the House, well, they can't stop executive orders. He can still just keep signing executive orders, and he's got the Supreme Court in his back pocket.
All of that's what's scary. So y'all stay tuned for June, because that's when the Supreme Court decides a whole bunch of its cases and a whole bunch of rights are on the chopping block. Yay.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Eddie. Huh?
I think we should get married before then, before it's outlawed.
Anyhow, y'all,
I'm going to finish my can of Trans Joy.
I'm going to finish my bottle of Callaway Blue. Only blue bottle water for the Democrats.
I guess I should go pack.
So anyhow, I'm going to be spending the weekend here by myself. Ava's going to be
Hello, Dora.
North Carolina. So me and Boom Boom have
tell me
figured
about
out.
the news story about the pregnant Georgia woman on life support. Okay, tell me more. I've not heard about that.
Yeah. So anyway, y'all, let's hang up here. I might come on later this evening from the garden house for a few minutes. I'll come on here and get the devil all steered up, and then I have to go in the garden house and pray a little bit to calm this devil down.
That's interesting. I cannot. So I work with some medical ethicists, and